Hello everyone, this is Ilya, and today we have another very exciting podcast. So today we have a very special guest from Dune Productions, and basically, if you guys don't know what Dune Production is like a very good company of productions. They host amazing productions that are super funny and amazing. They actually came to our school and we loved their production. So we have Emma.
Hi, it's so nice to be here. I wish you could always introduce me. That was wonderful. What a fantastic job.
Thank you. Okay, so how did you move your theater from London to in Dubai?
So what happened for us as a company was all three of the founders of the company, we all worked on stage in London performing for big audiences and in various different places. So some of us in the music, some of us on stage.
Oh.
And then when we moved here
In Dubai?
To Dubai, we worked a lot in teaching. So we were teaching performing arts. And that naturally, because of the nature of theatre arts and the arts in general, led us to be more curious. And so we formed Dune Productions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to start it?
This is a great question. I really like talking about this.
Okay, yeah.
So what inspired us was actually the children.
Really?
Now, we believe firmly in the idea that stories matter.
Oh.
And that when you tell stories, you can use them for more than just entertainment. So I don't know whether you know this fact. I'm going to tell you, this is really interesting. So there's been some studies done, medical studies about synapses in the brain. Now, have you ever heard a show called a play before?
Like plays?
Yeah, plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the word play, that's something that we do as children.
Play.
Now, when you get to do my job, which I absolutely love, you are playing right up until you're an adult. Now, when you play, you learn things quicker. So that's why children play.
Oh.
So if you are learning something without playing, it takes 400 times for your brain to learn a new synapse. But if you play while you learn, it only takes 10 to 15 times. So we knew the power of theatre and stories, and we felt really strongly that the children in the UAE deserved to have fantastic stories. So we created Dune Productions out of passion and out of play and out of fun.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, guys! Wait, I actually didn't know that. Playing helps you?
Playing helps you learn so much faster, and stories help you learn so much faster as well. So we put both of them together, and we made it in school, and then we knew that we could have a really big impact on the children that we really felt deserved it.
Oh, so you went to schools to show the other children?
Yeah.
Oh, so how did you and your co-founders come together to form the
We have known each other forever. So there is myself, there is one of my very, very good friends, Harry, and there is also my husband, Patrick. Ooh. So the three of us have known each other for a really long time. I've known Harry the longest. I've known Harry since I was a teenager.
Oh my God.
I don't know whether you remember him. He was the bald guy that did all the silly stuff with the wig. Yeah,
I remember.
So he's very funny, and I've known him a really, really long time. And then my husband, I'm obviously married to, so I know him quite well as well.
He was very funny. I actually remember him.
Yeah, I'm so pleased to say
So,
that. He'll be pleased to hear you think that too.
Yeah. So why does the name Dune represent your brand?
That's a good question too. Now this is interesting. We played around with a ton of names. Loads of names we tried. I don't know whether you know this, but there are certain names that you can't have here because it's already taken.
Oh, yeah.
Like the palm, you can't have the palm, and there's certain words that you have to be careful of because there's already big, things that we know about that share that name.
You can't copy the name.
You can't copy the name, exactly, and you don't want to do that, but what we knew is that we really wanted to have a name that represented the Middle East and was authentically UAE, but that also had a flexibility and a kind of majestic vibe around it.
Okay.
And so we thought, the sand dunes and the sweeping kind of historical vision that we see with sand and with the desert And so that's how we came up with the dunes, so the sand dunes. So we wanted it to be, we're very lucky, we're one of the only theatre in education companies that is registered in this country. And so we wanted our name to reflect our partnership with our home. And that's why we came up with Dune Productions.
Oh, so like dune, like sand dune.
Sand
oh
dune.
my god.
And you'll see our logo is like a sweeping gold sand dune. And it's nice. We really like it.
Oh, so like what gap in education or theater were you trying to fill when you started this like company?
I think the best way for me to describe the gap that we wanted to fill would be representation. Because we know that when children see themselves reflected on stage, like a mirror, when they can relate with the people on stage and they can relate with the stories on stage, they then take in so much more from that story. And what we felt we wanted to have more of here was stories that represented the children. Rather than stories from other places in the world, we write UAE stories for UAE kids. So we really feel like we're there plugging what makes them feel like they belong, what makes them feel special.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you read a book,
Okay.
and do you like to read?
Yeah.
If you read a book, do you prefer to see somebody that is maybe your age, that maybe looks like you, maybe that lives here in the UAE, rather than reading about somebody that maybe doesn't speak the same language, maybe doesn't look the same, maybe, you know, is from a completely different part of the world with a totally different culture? And if you have that in front of you in a book, you then feel like you can put yourself into the story. You can relate, exactly. And it makes you feel like you're part of that, like you're in the story with the characters. Yeah.
So you wanted your place to relate?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So can you share a moment that made you feel this is why we started Dune? Like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can share, so I could go on forever and talk about these moments. I remember very specifically a wonderful child at a fantastic school that we go to. I can say it because it's fantastic, because it's Gems Wellington Silicon Oasis.
Okay.
A fantastic school with a fantastic performing arts department. And it was very early on in our sort of production days.
Okay.
And one of the boys in the audience asked to stay back afterwards. And he said, I want to speak to the character that plays Karim, because my name's Karim.
Oh.
And I have never ever seen a play or watched a movie or read a book where there is somebody that dresses like me and has my name. And it was really wonderful, and seeing the audience light up, recognizing the place that they're from and the culture that they live in, and be so excited and proud about that. When I first saw it happen, I thought, we've got it right.
Oh my god.
We're doing what we set out to do, which is great.
That's so cool. Okay, so wait, like how many schools have you like done productions in UAE?
We work now really proudly with over 250 schools across the UAE. And we don't just do shows. So we do a lot of things for schools where we really try and support the teachers, the parents and the children. So we do our shows like the one that you saw at your school.
Yeah, that was so good.
And we do workshops. So if schools are studying parts of history, we do bespoke workshops where we come in and maybe do an Egyptian day or a Roman day. We do a lot of support for the performing arts teachers and the English teachers. So if they're doing a text like in GCSEs, maybe they're studying a Shakespeare, or maybe they are putting on a show and they need some help with the lights and the mics and the sound and making it come to life, we do that too. So we work with many, many schools, and we're really proud because we're a new company really, we're 4 years old. And so our growth has been a real passion project for us, and we're really proud of it.
Like a big journey.
Big journey, a really exciting one.
So like how do you design a production that fits different like schools and curriculums?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. And I tell you something, it takes a lot of care and work. And I think the thing that we have to do really is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to education. Every single school approaches education differently, exactly. And every single school is filled with children, and no single child is the same.
Yeah.
And every single teacher teaches in a different way and has a different passion and love for that. And so you're going to have like a pick and mix sweets bag. It's everybody wants something different. And so we work really hard to try and make sure that we are serving not just the children, but the teachers and the parents, and making it relevant to each different school. It keeps us busy 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Oh my God.
It's worth it. It's worth it. When you see those faces light up and you see the teachers feel excited about going back into the classroom, it's worth every second of hard work. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
So a lot of research, a lot of work, but no regrets.
Yeah. Because like you see all the faces light up and you're like, oh my gosh, everyone's happy.
Everyone's laughing, everyone's clapping, everyone's joining in when they're supposed to join in. And the feeling of that, of telling a story and having an organic response, so a real response from the audience that's spontaneous and it's really coming from inside them, is the most wonderful feeling in the world, really.
So like you like you're the manager and you like help your team and set up the...
Yeah, so me and Harry and Patrick, we're co-owners of the company.
Okay.
So we set it up together, so each three of us own it, and then we have a fantastic team of actors, we've got some admin staff, we've got people that design posters, we work with some amazing costume people, but we're really supported by a fantastic team, the three of us, and we're incredibly proud to work with all of those actors and creators alongside us. Yeah, for sure.
So like what's been your most memorable production so far?
I think our first production, which was called Unstoppable Me, and it was about self-belief and about having a sense of belonging. You can see the poster behind you. And Unstoppable Me was about a little girl that moved to the UAE, and she felt like she wanted to discover what made her fit in here, and also what made her really unique and special. And the message was very much that each one of us belongs, and each one of us is unique, and we have the potential we are unstoppable. So Unstoppable Me, Unstoppable You was our sort of quote through the show. And because that was the first time we'd ever done it, and we were really creating the story from absolutely nothing, it was a blank piece of paper. And we knew what we wanted to support. So
like
what
the
we
concept.
do is, we knew the concept. So we knew that there was the sort of national agenda that in the country that we're very lucky to live in. And we knew that there was parts of the education system that we really loved. And that was very much the kind of moral and social self-belief, really the positive things that really make children just like yourself have the confidence to come and do this, which by the way is fantastic. The fact that you can sit here and ask such intelligent questions, you're unstoppable. That's exactly what the message in our show was. So that show I'll never forget.
So wait, what school was that show in?
We went to many different schools with that show. So we toured that show for 1.5 years. So that went out over 4 different tours. So we do term 1, term 2, term 3, and then we took it out a second time for term 1 because it was so popular. So that hundreds of children. I mean, in a year we can see as many as 60,000 children watching our shows. So it's amazing the reach that we have, and that we get to put that in front of so many kids.
Yeah, so everybody loved the Unstoppable Me performance.
Everybody loved Unstoppable Me. And then we did one called Change Makers, which was all about looking after the environment. We did one about heritage, which was called Our Time, about being proud of our heritage. We did one called We Are One, which is about well-being and looking after everyone around you. And at the moment we have a fantastic show called Tomorrow's World, which looks at our relationship. Well, you saw Tomorrow's World. Looks at our relationship with AI and how we interact with technology.
I did see that.
Yeah, so we did that. And then we do some kids shows as well for children much younger than you, for FS age children. And those ones are amazing too. I love them all.
Like, do the FS2 do like different, like more like appropriate for their age shows. Yeah.
Yeah, so something that makes our company unique is that we adapt our shows to meet the audience. So for FS, we have specially adapted shows that look at the things that we really need to help that age of child with. So that's things like communication, that's things like understanding stories and how stories work. Sometimes we're teaching them to recognise who they are and where they are. And so we create stories for that age child that's very different to the one you would have watched, because you are older, you have a much different understanding of the world. And then even further than that, older than you, we adapt the show again to an older age child who's dealing with the world in a different way. So we adapt our shows to meet the audience in front of us.
Oh, wow.
Which is fun, actually. That's really fun to be able to do that.
So, what does education through theatre really mean to you?
Education through theatre really means to me not putting boundaries to our learning and understanding that play and imagination and self-belief are at the centre of the world becoming an even better place. And I think that's what our stories do, is that it's a message. It's like sending out an email or sending a WhatsApp or posters everywhere. What we're doing is spreading a positive message to... At your school, we saw many, many children in the week. I mean, hundreds of children. And if each of those children went out and spread the same message as us, and then their friends did the same, and then they did the same, what we have is almost like a radio frequency of positivity. That's what I think putting stories into the school does. I think it spreads positivity and kindness.
Yeah, it just spreads in like a whole circle.
Exactly, exactly.
So, do you believe theatre can improve students' mental well-being?
Yes, 100%. I absolutely believe that anything to do with the arts, whether it be our stories or whether you go and watch stories in other theatres across the UAE, whether you're watching fantastic movies or really funny cartoons, or whether you are performing yourself and going to a drama class or a theatre class or a singing class or a music class, I truly believe that it improves people's sense of self. I think it helps them to understand who they are.
Yeah.
And I think that the more that we encourage it, especially here in the UAE when we're in such a time of change and we're really improving the arts scene, it's vital to mental well-being.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense actually. Mm-hmm. So, like, who usually writes the scripts to your shows?
It's a massive team effort. It's huge team effort. And actually, so normally one of us comes up with an idea. And that might be, and we've all taken turns in coming up with the initial idea. And then
you build it.
We build it from there. And it's even to the point that we'll write the shows and we'll go to the teachers that we trust in all the different schools and we'll say, what do you think?
Oh.
What do you think of this? What do you think of that? What if you were teaching a lesson on AI, which is what you talked about, what we did in your school. If we were teaching a lesson on AI in your classroom, what would you do? And then they'll tell us, and then we'll try and incorporate all of those ideas
and turn them into a play.
And then even our actors have input. So we have a fantastic team of actors. A lot of them we've been working with a really long time, and they'll come into the room. We'll start rehearsing, and they'll say, "Well, what about this? And what about this?" And that's the beautiful thing about creating, is it's like a collage. So everybody comes together like ingredients in a cake, and then eventually what you have is something fantastic. So it's teamwork on the scripts, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Best way to create things is together.
Yeah. So how do you stay creative while also being like educationally like respectful, like that?
That's a balance.
Oh.
A fantastic balance that we have to look after very, very carefully. Because What you don't want to do when you're putting on a show is have the children in the audience ever get bored.
Yeah.
Because you have to constantly, sort of like fishing,
Grab their attention.
you have to hook them in all the time. Because you do a lot in a day at school.
Yeah.
If you think about how many lessons you do, plus languages, plus probably clubs and sports, and then when you get home there's probably stuff that you have to look after at home. You're running a podcast and a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You're editing, you're looking after the people that you're interviewing. You're probably having to do some research on those people.
Emails.
Emails constantly. So you're a salesperson in a business already yourself. So if you imagine that brain of yours is already going 1,000 miles an hour. So if you're watching a play with us in and we don't keep hooking you in, you're going to be sat there thinking, what did we do in English last week? Oh, it's my doorbell, or visitor. What did we do in English last week? What did we do when we did this? What was this? And if we don't hook you in, you're going to lose focus. So it's our job to balance education and entertainment, or edutainment, some people call it. So it's like, you know these scales that do this?
Yes.
It's like this.
Oh.
Perfect balance, entertainment, education, like this. That's what we do.
Oh my gosh. So, like, how do you prepare before visiting a new school?
How do we prepare before visiting a new school? We do a lot of communication. Clear lines of communication. Teachers are very busy people. So we have to make sure that they have all the information that they need, that they feel supported in selling tickets, that they know what's coming next.
The schedule.
A schedule. We make sure that they know what the kids are going to learn. We make sure that they know, you know, how many shows we need to do, that kind of thing. So we have a fantastic production manager. She sends 1 million emails to the teachers, and then they send 1 million emails back. And then by the end of it, what we have is a really sort of excited team that want to go there, and then some excited teachers, and hopefully excited children as well, because we don't see them until we get in the room.
Oh yeah. So like, do you have your own like studio where you practice, or like do you like just practice at home or something?
So when we're rehearsing, we work with a really fantastic venue called The Agenda.
At the agenda.
And they put on fantastic shows there. They do lots of different things, but they also have some rehearsal spaces which we use. It's a really good place for us to be able to go and use our lights and put the sound in. So that's where we rehearse, because we need a space that's big enough, but we also need a space that goes dark, because we have to be able to test the lights. So we
And
have
the
to go
mic.
into, so we have to, the mics, the lights, all of that stuff. So we have to go down into a room, which is underneath the ground, and then we turn all the lights off, we put all our lights on, and then we pretend like there's an audience. And that's where we rehearse. And it's fun, actually. Rehearsal week is one of my favourites. There's lots of laughs and lots of giggles on rehearsal, lots of late nights as well. But it's good, it's really fun. So that's where we go and rehearse, is at the Agenda, which is in, I think, Internet City. I think, yeah.
So does like some people like watch you while you rehearse, like?
Yeah, so what we'll do often is that I have 2 little girls who use
Yeah, I saw them.
So often they'll come in and watch stuff, because they're a really good test of whether something's maybe funny or they don't understand. And then we'll be able to adjust around that, and then maybe we'll have some friends that we trust or teachers that we trust to come and see what we call a preview, which is like a sneak peek.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's what happens when we rehearse. But it's a lot of sort of going back and forth, like a game of tennis. So in the rehearsal room, we'll try something, and then if it doesn't work, we have to go, okay, that doesn't work, let's try it this way.
Yeah.
It's a bit like if you're doing something at school and you're doing, trying to describe something and somebody doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm going to have to try and say it another way.
No, another way.
I'll try another way. We'll end up at the same destination, but maybe we'll take another route.
Like an easier route, maybe.
Yeah,
sometimes.
easier route, maybe something with some comedy in it, maybe something that's, you know, a lot of technology. I noticed, I don't know whether you saw that we use an interactive screen up on the back of the theatre, which does some of the informative stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have our fantastic robot, and he does some of the fact
The robot, I remember.
The robot's very cool. We really love KAI.
Oh my
He's a lot of
gosh.
maintenance. He takes a lot of oil to keep him moving.
Oh. I remember on the back of the screen in one of like the plays that you did with us, there was a video.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we like to try and integrate technology with our shows because, let's face it, technology's here.
The future.
Technology is the future, and we have to interact with it. We have to make friends with it.
Yeah,
and so being able to use that in our shows not only helps the educational part of it, but it means that we're remaining current and relevant. Relevant's a really good word.
Relevant.
Relevant is a really, really good word. When you're telling stories, to be able to remain relevant means that you are never going to be old hat or boring or out of fashion, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So like you're including AI to make it like in fashion.
Exactly, that's it, because it's a current subject. A lot of people are talking about it. We're obviously going to be learning about AI in schools from next year. There's going to be lessons taught on AI actually in the syllabus.
Yeah.
So what we get to do is come in and say, well, here's a great story. Here's a great story that's going to give your students some context on that subject.
So like, have you ever had a production that didn't go as planned and like you had to improvise or something?
Oh, all productions across the world, and this is one of the things about theatre. When you watch a live piece of theatre or a live play,
Okay.
it's a beautiful thing, but it only exists in that moment, and it will never be the same again. So each second that happens will never exist. It's not like when you watch a movie and then you can re-watch it again and again and again. We perform in a ton of different venues with different spaces, different lights, different students that maybe have never seen live theatre before. And so every single time is different, and technology, we've just been singing its praises in the last question, it's the most unpredictable thing about our shows. It's not the actors, they know how to save anything. They're amazing. But we can't always predict the technology. So say there's a big video that's supposed to happen,
But it doesn't.
and then we press a button and we don't know why, but maybe sometimes it doesn't come on. And so we have to work around that. Maybe sometimes we're in a school space that doesn't have complete darkness, which means we lose our lights, and so we have to adapt around that. So yeah, there's always the risk when you walk onto live stage. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You just have to know the story well enough and trust your other actors on stage to know that you can save it and still keep the integrity of the story, of the piece. What was your intention when you walked into the room? And if you can keep with that intention, you can keep pushing and pushing and pushing the message. It doesn't matter if the tech goes wrong, because the audience don't know. So we cover it up well, but yeah, we've definitely had some times.
Yeah, because lots of plays, like, it's not obvious that you've, like, made a mistake and just quickly covered it up.
Yeah, you have to cover it up. You just have to keep going, you have to trust everybody on stage, and then when you come off stage, you have a laugh about it. You giggle, and it's a story, and it's one that you remember, and you say, there was that one time I walked on stage and none of the lights came on, or you know, the firework went off in the wrong direction, or you know, whatever happens, many things in life. But it's part of the fun.
Like, you know how you said the robot needs a lot of oil? So has it ever, like, stopped working, like, mid-play?
Yeah, and he's not our first robot. So we have another robot who's very well loved called K2.
K2.
Yeah, he works on, like, a rotating fan, and it's very complex, this robot. And we rely on this K2 character to be very funny and to move us on to the next part of the story.
Oh, yeah.
And there's been times where he just doesn't want to wake up. He's like, no, I'm asleep. I'm not turning on. And so we have to work around that as well. So robots are very difficult to work with.
I mean, like, one of the actors could just say, oh, why is this random robot here not working?
Exactly. See, you could come and do our shows with that kind of skill. That's what we need, people that think on the spot, people that think on their feet.
So, this is a good question. What are your future dreams for
the company?
Dune Production?
We have so many.
What's your biggest one?
What's the biggest one? We want to extend even further beyond just shows. I think what we would absolutely love is that if we could have multiple teams out at multiple different times, reaching into the community even further. So we want to be able to work with schools that maybe have never had a drama program and encourage that. We want to be able to put out our stories in multiple different ways, so maybe on stage, on screen, in books. And I think more than anything, what we want to create is a sense of community, which is nice because it's the year of community here at the moment. A sense of community whereby people are able to access our stories at any time, even if it's not in school.
Also, like anywhere.
Anywhere. So, and be able to go out into the community and do good things with it. So that's what I think we'd like to do is
Expand, sort of.
Expand even further and work even more closely with communities to provide the exact thing that they want and need at that time. So that could look like anything, but definitely that's our dream, is to be able to provide more positivity.
So finally, if someone wants to reach you or your production house, how can they contact you?
That's a great question. So there's multiple ways to contact us. We're on Instagram at JuneUAE. We have email addresses, so that's info@DuneProductions.
Yeah, that's how I emailed
That's how
you.
you found us. Or you can, because we're friends now, Emma@DuneProductions.ae is another way. We have a website, we have a Facebook page, we have WhatsApp numbers, which I'm sure I can share with you and you can pop them onto the video. There's a million ways to contact us, and we are really, really quick at getting back to people because we're always excited to connect. So that's the best way to do it. Email, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, I actually got your email from your website.
Did you? I love hearing that. Do you know that's the second time I've heard that today?
Really?
And I thought people didn't go onto websites anymore, but I've been proven wrong twice today. So that's great. We love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the show?
I really enjoyed it.
Did
It was
you
so
laugh?
funny. Yeah, a lot.
Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased to hear that. And with your podcast and all your sort of hosting and all of that, what's your dream? What do you want to do? Ultimately, when you grow up, do you think, I see myself on stage or on screen or interviewing people on the red carpet? Do you have that? Or are you just discovering the world as you go?
I would still do podcasts, but then if I wanted to do a job, it would be something like digital AI, actually.
That's so cool. So when you watched our show, you probably thought, wow, this is really for me. That's incredible. Do you know, can I say, you are a really good interviewer. Genuinely, you ask really intelligent questions and you ask them really nicely, and then you listen to the answer, which is fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. It's been amazing.
So guys, I really enjoyed this podcast. It was really good, and I learned a lot of, behind the scenes, definitely, and the journey of Dune Production, how it was made, how it was created, how it was named, a lot of things I found out. So I really enjoyed. Thank you so much for being on today's podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.